I was going to make a video today about Honda generators, and something else came up that I want to talk about today. But you'll see that I'm getting ready for temperatures to get down below, near 0 degrees. So I cut out this bucket to kind of keep the wind off of it and kind of trap some of that heat in there, so it doesn't cool off so much that the oil doesn't do its job anymore. But what I really want to talk about is manipulative behavior. I've talked about this a lot, and it is downright extreme nowadays. I can't even deal with it hardly anymore. It's just so frustrating every time it happens. So yesterday I get a call. A guy says, I'm coming over to your place because I got this auger. Now what these augers are, they're like 2-cycle engines, and it has an auger on the bottom of it, and it's to drill holes in the ground for fence or something. And they probably stand 3 or 4 feet tall. They're not huge. And he says the spark plug boot came off the wire, so you got the spark plug wire with the boot on it. Now, the thing you may not know about that is underneath the boot is a spring. And that spring is what actually slides onto the spark plug. Well, these are notorious for breaking. So you'll see maybe that the spark plug spring, that spring there, actually jabs into the rubber insulation. And that is what creates the circuit, the electricity transfer from the wire to the spring to the spark plug. And then you have that boot over this that holds it all together. Well, a lot of people will yank that boot off, and that spring comes right out of that hole in the spark plug wire. Right there, it just pops right out. I've done it. Well, he calls and says that boot come off. Well, there is a chance you can fix this. It's a chance. It's not 100% guaranteed that you can fix this without buying a new ignition coil. That's $20 there. All you got to do is slide that back into the hole, wrap some tape around it so it doesn't fall back out, and then put the boot back on. Well, actually, you put the boot on first, then the spring, and then you slide the boot back up over around it. But it's a hit or miss. If you pull it too hard, you might see the wires in this one still there. At the end here, right at the end, you'll see the wires. If you don't see those wires, it's a good chance those wires got shot back up into the insulation past where that hole is. So it's a guess. So I said, well, yeah, I'll take a look at it. I'm not guaranteeing it. If that has slid back up in there, if that wire slid back up in there. Well, he had no idea what I was talking about. He says, I don't know what you're talking about. You should just screw that back on. That's all you got to do. So maybe in the old days that was true. I don't know. I've never seen one. But I'll get to that in a minute. So he gets here, and he's explaining to me what happened. And he's showing me the hole in the wire. And I said, yeah, I know. So I said, you got the boot? Yeah, I got the boot. I said, you got the spring? What spring? Well, I thought, oh boy, here we go. Well, the spring was still in the boot. Usually they fall out, but this one it didn't. And it was stuck in there. I actually had to cut the boot, which meant I had to take the boot off this one. So I've just ruined this. Although this was used, it's not a huge loss. I still had to take the boot off of it. I think you can buy boots, so I don't know if it's a big deal. And I don't even know if this one works, to be honest. It's used, it's all rusted. So anyway, I took the boot off, gave him my boot, and I put that spring back in there, in the holes. There was 2 holes on this particular model. Slid the boot back on, taped it up, slid the boot back on, and I put it on the spark plug. Well, now the whole time there's 2 guys, a very young guy, much younger than me, probably in his 20s or 30s, and an older guy, older than me. And that older guy is just yelling in my ear the whole time, I'm telling you, all you got to do is screw that back in. I mean, just as loud as you can, right in my ear. I'm working on the machine, and he is standing on their tail, the tailgate, and he's standing right in my ear. And it was just more than I could bear. I was just, oh, shut up. I just wanted to say, shut up. And he's telling me, don't you know that you can screw that back in? And I finally got the boot cut open, and I showed him the spring. I said, well, back in the olden days, you just screwed that back in. You remember that, don't you? No, I don't. That's exactly what I said. I've never seen one. Maybe it's true. And I'm sure somebody out there going to be, oh, it used to be that way all the time. What are you, an idiot? Okay, I'm an idiot. But why am I the idiot if this guy didn't know about the spring? If it was screwed on, why didn't he just fix it? So, no, he needed my help with technology that he didn't understand. I mean, I'm sure modern day computer guys don't know how to work on the old Apple, the old Apples back in, what are the Commodores? I'm sure they don't know how to fix them. It'd be like a TV guy working on TV from 1950. What's a tube? So anyway, I got off track a little bit. But he's yelling in my ear the whole time. So I get the spark plug back on, or the boot back onto the spark plug. Everything's hooked up. And I said, okay, give it a try. Well, it doesn't start. And it looked funny to me the way he was pulling it. And he said, no, not working. So I go down and because we're still on his tailgate. So I go down and get my spark tester, bring it back up. And I put spark tester on and I pull it. I wanted to pull it myself. And it was pretty obvious the bearings were locked up. Now this machine was brand new. It had no model number on it. It didn't have anything. There was no indication who produced it. There was nothing on it. Later I learned it's a Walmart thing. It's a China brand thing that was sold by Walmart. Vevor, it's the same brand as my sonic cleaner, my sonic ultrasonic cleaner. Same brand, V-E-V-O-R, I think is how it's spelled. But I didn't know that at the time. I had no idea what it was. Now, I want to back up. I had no idea what it was. And even after I found out what it was, I looked for a new ignition coil. And I couldn't find one. There just wasn't one available. I asked AI. AI said, nah, there's none available. So it's a throwaway machine. It's $129. This was a brand new machine. It has never been used. I looked at the auger and it was completely clean, no dirt on it, not a scratch. So, like I said, I pulled it and it was obvious the bearings were locking up on that thing. Obvious. So I looked at the gas tank and it was dark color. So that means there was two-cycle oil engine, or two-cycle oil in the mix. It's mixed oil in the gas. It was what it's supposed to be. But I had a sneaking suspicion, and a lot of people will do this. They'll put regular gas in it, run it, lock it up, and realize, oops, I've locked it up, dump the gas out, put the correct gas in, give it to the mechanic, say, hey, there's something wrong with this. Well, you've ran the wrong gas in. No, I didn't, you see? It gives them deniability and accuses the mechanic of not knowing what they're doing. Makes them responsible. So I'm already a little hesitant on two fronts. The first front was, I don't know what brand it is. Now, like I said, later, after they left, I looked it up and it was a Walmart brand, but I had no idea what it was. I didn't even know I was going to be able to order a part. Like I said, later after they left, I realized I wasn't going to be able to order a part. And it was hard to pull. So they said, yeah, let's just go ahead and replace it. How much is it going to be? And they were worried about cost the entire time. I mean, even when they called me, well, how much is it going to cost to fix that? Put that spring back on. Well, I haven't charged them anything. Nothing. Gave them that boot and I put it on. Still, no money. No money has exchanged hands. So he says, well, how much is it going to cost? I tell him what I think it's going to cost, but I don't know because I don't know what brand it is. It could be something that's got, a $50 ignition coil. Most of them are $20, but, and then I told my labor cost. Okay, yeah, let's do it. I said, okay, let me go get a tag. Now, I was in the process of trying to think of what I wanted to do with this machine. I had two options. Turn it down now, or open it up and tell them that it is scored that it's not going to work anymore, and give it back to him. But I wanted to think about what I wanted to do. Do I really want to take on the obligation of working on this machine just to tell him it's not going to work, even though I'm pretty sure, see, pulling it, I was about 80% confident that they had ran bad gas in it, or wrong gas in it. The only thing I was going to do is confirm that they ran bad gas in it. That's all I was going to do by taking it. I wasn't going to fix it. It was shot. It's a $129 piece of equipment. I know it's brand new. So I walked down to the house to think about what I want to do, and I realized what they were doing. It just occurred to me what they were doing, based on they didn't want to pay any money. That was you could just tell they didn't want to pay anything. They ripped that boot off after they poured gas in it to see if they could change the spark plug, and that would fix everything, because everybody thinks that's what how to fix everything, change the spark plug. And when they ripped the boot off, they realized, uh-oh, we're gonna have to take this back to Walmart. I want to get my money back, even though it's not really Walmart's fault. Walmart would have taken it back, but it wasn't their fault. So they were trying to scam Walmart is what they were trying to do, and scam me at the same time. So I walked back up with the tag, like I was gonna, go ahead and, I wasn't pretending. I just walked back up with the tag after I decided what I wanted to do. I wasn't gonna take the machine. And I told them, I'm not gonna take it. Oh, come on, just, take a look at it, see what, nah, I don't think I'm gonna take it. I don't know what brand it is, which was my bigger concern, that if it wasn't scored, I didn't know if I was gonna be able to order a part. So I didn't take it. So I was pretty upset about that they were trying to scam me and Walmart. It's just wrong. They messed it up. They need to go out and spend more money. And then when I asked them what brand it was, they said, I don't know, it's not my machine. You mean you tell me you borrowed a brand new machine and the first thing you did was rip off the spark plug boot? Huh. I would have just taken it back to the guy and said, hey, this thing doesn't run. If they hadn't put in the wrong gas, I should say. I think they put in the wrong gas. So today I get a call, a message, and it says, do you do any welding or know someone? So I replied back, I will weld mower decks, but I've not done professional welding work. And then I give a guy who does welding. I'm not going to tell you his name, but there's a guy here in town that does welding. So the guy says, I'll try to stop by in a bit, and you can take a look at it. I said, okay. To me, what I wrote was very clear. I will weld mower decks, but I've not done any professional welding. To me, I guess I could have worded it a little different. I will weld mower decks, but I don't do professional welding, maybe? I said I've not done, which is bad grammar, actually. My guess is the spell checker changed it or something. But regardless, I think the point is clear. I will weld mower decks, but I'm not going to weld anything else. I think that was very clear. And here's a guy who can do it for you. How much more clear can you be? So when he says, I'll try to stop by in a bit and you can take a look at it, I just assumed in my head, oh, it's a mower deck. Okay, that's fine. He's probably out here mowing leaves or something. I don't know what he's doing. Maybe he ran it and broke. Who knows what he's doing? So I said, okay. Well, he gets here, and it's not a mower deck. It is a one-legged table. It's got that centered leg. And it's just the leg. It's not the table. But he's got the leg. And he says, I want you to cut off 3 inches on this. And inside the tube was a piece of metal that had a thread in it. I need you to take that piece of metal out and put it back inside the tube. He's wanting to shorten the height of the table is what he's wanting to do. And then put that metal piece back inside. Well, that is not a mower deck. That is not farm equipment. I'm a farm, back in the 90s, Grandpa and Dad had a farm, and when I got out of the Navy, I went over there and we did some welding. I'm not an expert. Most of the practice I've gotten is with that little bitty welder and my 2 generators. I can weld mower decks, and I do a pretty good job on mower decks. Pretty happy with them. But I'm not gonna start welding things that, for furniture. I'm not welding furniture. I don't have a MIG or TIG welder, which is what it would have required. I would have had to have a bandsaw so I could make a straight cut to cut that 3 inches off that he wanted. I would have had to figure out how to get that metal piece out. I don't have that equipment. I'm a lawnmower mechanic. So I tell him, No, I can't do that. I mean, as soon as he opened the tailgate, no, I can't do that. There's no way I can do that. What? Come on. Yeah, you can do it. What it is the guy who welds charges double the price of what I charge. And rightfully so. You got to have all that expensive equipment. I don't even want to get into that cost. That would be huge. And as a result, he does a good job with welding. Me, I got this little welder with 2 generators. I mean, what is there to really charge? The welding stick? So, I will fix a deck. And even the guy who welds thinks that I should be welding decks. He thinks that's totally legitimate, that he doesn't want to get involved with. Although I have taken some decks to him because, you know, when a spindle or something breaks off, I don't want to mess with that. So, it was clear that he deliberately withheld in the text message what it was. I feel like I was pretty clear that I do mower decks. And it wasn't a mower deck. So he deliberately withheld it because he knew that what I was saying was farm equipment, basically. I will weld, you know, maybe some farm equipment, maybe a bracket or something, but I'm not gonna weld. Definitely anything that needs to look good, like furniture. I'm not doing it. Well, it's all the same, isn't it? No, you're asking me to cut, even if the welding was all the same, you're asking me to cut metal and remove a piece from the center. I don't even know how to do that. Well, I don't have the torches and that kind of stuff. I mean, are you insane? This was a manipulation. It was to get it over here and then make me feel guilty that he drove all the way out here, which is probably about 15 miles, and then say no. So I said, no, you need to take that over to the other guy. So he said he would, but you could tell that's not what he wanted. He wanted to save that at $50. And I'm not even sure it's $50. I mean, that's, you know, $50 an hour or something maybe. It could have taken that other guy a while to do it. Cut it, get that piece out, get it all lined up. Make sure you don't get any weld BBs in the threaded area. Nothing I want to do. So I'm just really sick of all the manipulation in the world. Everybody does it. I've said it many times, and every time somebody get in the comment section will say, no, good people don't do that. Well, the guy that came today, I know is a good person. At least what people would consider a good person, nice guy. But it was a manipulation. So if you'll click this up next box, take the video over my other channel, or appreciate it, go check it out so I can inspire you. Don't manipulate people. So you can live your dreams. Thanks for watching.